Okay, so now we're going to look at the Proof Test Plus software. So this is software that can produce a test certificate automatically and wirelessly using the information from the load cell that did the test. So let's start off again in the load cell database screen. Here you'll see all the load cells that we've scanned for and found that we've got available in our database. And then to go into Proof Test Plus, over here on the far right of the menu, PTP. Now, for first time setup, you need to enter your company details and you put in your company logo. But once you've done that, you'll be presented with this screen where you need to select an engineer. So if you haven't already, then add an engineer, and we'll just call this one Demo Engineer. And engineer ID, we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's say as a qualification, they've got a Lear team card, and that's got a number against it as well. So let's add that engineer. Then we can select that as the engineer who's conducting the test. Then we get to select the load cell that's going to do the test. So whichever load cells that you added in the project setup page, so in this case we added in this simulator load cell number 1, that will appear to choose here. So we then just, it shows that the load cell date, this is off from my simulator, it's a 100-ton load cell. It's due to be calibrated in September 2020, and it was calibrated and measuring in tons. So let's select that load cell to do the test. And then here is where you would add the customer details that you're doing the test for. So let's say you're doing some sort of water bag test, so you're doing a proof test using water bags. You would add the name of the customer who is the duty holder of the crane that you're testing, as an example. But in this case, I've already added a customer. I'll show you what that looks like to add customer. So you add the name, address, telephone number, and contact details. But I've already got that set up. I'm going to select this test customer. Now we're on the page where we tell the software what is the thing that we're testing. So in this case, we're going to say that it is a 100-ton capacity crane. Serial number 7890. Working load limit is 100 tons. And test method is going to be proof test to 100% of working load limit. You can add any notes, perhaps about the history of the test or the conditions on the day. We'll just put nothing special. And so here we're going to say that we're going to do a load test to 100 tons. Now the threshold is the point at which we start logging the data. So if for a water bag test you don't want that first 10 tons of test to be recorded, just because it's very slow and you fill in those water bags, you could put that at 10%, or you could put that higher, or if you want all of the data, you could put that in at 0%. And then this is the measurement interval that it will show, so 100 tons, and it will be moving in 0.5 ton increments. And here we can zero the load cell. So now that we're ready, let's click start, and we'll start to get readings from our load cell. So straight away we can see that this load cell is reading at 15 tons. And then as you add load, you'll see that live read here is increasing. So as you're adding water for your proof test, And then we want to get to 100 tons because we said we're going to do a functional test to 100 tons. There we go. So we've reached 100 tons, and then they'd let that water out the water bag, and then we come back down, and then we say stop, click save, and then based on what you've witnessed, would you say that test was acceptable or unacceptable? If you want to generate a certificate from the test, you need to say that that is acceptable, but if it's unacceptable, then it will generate a fail certificate and any notes that you've recorded from that test. Then let's click save. It also shows here the maximum tonnage that we reached during the test. Okay, completed load test. And now we can click on view certification, and here we can click on view report. And then it will take a few seconds, and then this will generate us an automatic report with the date of the test, a unique certificate number, all of the details of the customer that you've done the test for, the details of the thing that you've tested, that you've conducted the load test on. Here we can see that the peak load that we achieved, but also the full traceability of the load cell that we did the test with, what it was calibrated in, when it was calibrated, the working load limit of the load cell. So we've got full traceability of that test that we've done, as well as a visual depiction of the test that we performed. Then that will be completed with the name of the engineer and the details that we filled out earlier. And then this can be saved and exported as an Excel, a PDF, or a Word file, but also it will stay in the database on the computer that you're running ProofTest Plus on. So hopefully that's been helpful to see how you can use ProofTest Plus to make proof tests far more traceable and easier to conduct. Thanks for watching.